And this candle is for global peace and inter-spiritual unity, and especially for all the religious leaders of the world, that they will make strident efforts to unite the children of God and eradicate all forms of guilt and empower their members to embrace their heart, their teacher. So let us just for a moment just collect our thoughts as we come into the presence of our beloved Earth Mother Gaia. Let us come into the presence of the company of heaven, the messengers of God. And let us send out positive love, light and blessing. And let us be still. And in that stillness, let us reawaken the divine within us, the Father, Mother God, who loves you and me, and who calls us by name. And we take a deep breath, and we hold it, and now we release all tension, all fear, sadness, disquiet, and let there be peace. Let there be peace in our heart. Let us come as a beloved of God. Just relax and allow your heart sense this peace of God, a peace that is healing, a peace that gets right down into the soul's DNA and touches us. So let us embrace the I Am presence within us and just be still. Be still in the presence of love. Be still in the presence of all that is, O beloved child of God. And now give yourself permission to bless the old day and all the events of that day. And now as we approach the new dawn of Friday the 31st, let us just bless this coming day. Let us bless it. Sorry, Thursday the 31st. I do apologize. And let us hold all that we have been given as a gift from God in love. Friendships, they come and go. Many come into our life for a reason. Some come into our life for a season. But we must not be clingy or overwhelm friendship. We must try and embrace the divine within each person that we meet, and especially those who reject us, who insult us. Let us give them a blessing. for their need for God is far greater, for they need love and stability back in their heart. And as we relax around this table, we come from different time zones. Some are hours ahead, others are hours behind, but we come in the center, and we come to embrace the Christ energy, the Christ consciousness. So let us invite, let us invoke, and let us now ask the Christ to come and be with us. And let us call on the beloved Magdalena, the twin flame of Christ, the beloved. Let us call on them. And now let us just be still. And with every in-breath, feel their love for you. Refresh you now in your weary mind, in your aching body, and in your spirit. And be aware of Gaia at your feet, our beloved Earth Mother, and the angels of the animal kingdom. They are at your feet, and they are supporting you. They are around you. And if you have animals and pets around you where you are, encourage them. Encourage them to be near you, for they are messengers in disguise, and they bring such beautiful gifts. And the first gift is God's gift, unconditional love. They trust us for everything, as God trusts us to use the gifts that we have been given to ascend, to disconnect from crisis, to embrace love. Because we are love. And the one who lives within us is the I Am Presence, the Christ, the Son of God. And as we relax now, we are aware of the presence of God in the silence, in the stillness. And God sees into our heart. He knows our every thought, our every word. And He invites us to surrender all that ails us, all that separates us from His love, especially fear. Especially fear. For fear has become a demigod of idolatry, and those who embrace fear and refuse to release fear to God, they end up becoming controlled by fear and never experience the true touch of love. So during this short time together, let us surrender our fear. But first let us bless it, having acknowledged it, and then let us release it to the Christ, the Son of God. And just be aware. Be aware be aware. I would like to read to you, share with your heart, something that I was guided to just minutes before we went live. Not what we had planned, but again, when we begin each live stream at midnight, we come before the Christ and we ask Him to speak through our heart, and that the 30 minutes be for the glory of God, for peace in the world, and for those present. So I sense that this has to be shared. Teresa noted in the 5th mansion that the body is secondary to the soul, a temporary vessel that will disintegrate once it has served its usefulness. Nonetheless, she counseled us to take care of the body so that it can serve the soul. Today, however, we live in a culture that adores the body and ignores the soul. We love the energy of connection, the social spirit of spiritual practices today. We love to talk about them and be social butterflies, flitting from practice to practice. But the social butterfly spirit is quite different from the empowered soul that inhabits the castle. Only the soul can change grace hot enough to burn disease out of cell tissue. For instance, only the soul has the force to burn the negative time lock that is lodged in diseased cell tissue and replace it with timeless grace. How true. How true. Only the soul can change grace hot enough to burn disease out of cell tissue, for instance. Only the soul, the spirit within, has the force to burn the negative time lock that is lodged in diseased cell tissue and replace it with timeless grace. Let us reflect on those words. For there is truth in all that was read, because it was divinely inspired. And as we quietly relax, let us ask the Christ, the physician of our soul, what is He saying to us? What is it that we should hear and take on board that is right for us this day? So let us allow the Spirit of God to connect with the I Am presence within us and share those pearls of wisdom as we gather in the name of the Beloved. And as we sit here quietly, I would like you to imagine a scene. We shall go on a short journey to meet and embrace the physician of our soul. We find a woodland that is encased with the most exquisite trees. And here in our village we have the oldest tree in the whole of Cumbria. It is well over 1,000 years old. And I would like you to imagine this tree. It is in a beautiful meadow that is the home to the finest of nature. Many birds make their nests there and give birth to their newborn. The wildlife seek shelter under the roots that have come up above the ground. Even the fallow deer. All of creation is at peace around this sacred tree. But to get to the tree, we have to walk down through our village, and then there's a tiny little laneway. And that laneway leads us to a gate. And when we come to the gate, we are surrounded by trees. And as we open the gate, there's about a 5-minute walk. And as we near this sacred tree, we can't see the sun's rays for the many branches that are in full flower. But around the tree there are crevices like built-in armchairs where you can sit and pray, relax and read. And the tree becomes an umbrella of protection. I want you to join me there. Let us sit together as a family. Let us sit and picnic with God, with Gaia, with the company of heaven. And there we notice that Elizabeth has brought a picnic rug and Eleanor has brought a basket with goodies, soft drinks and nibbles. And Harry, of course, has brought cushions to sit on, like they do in the desert with the Bedouins. And Miriam, of course, has brought some creams and jellies and various little treats for pudding. And Mary in Dublin has brought an assortment of soft fruits, dear Mary. And we're sat there having a picnic, all of us. And there is such rejoicing. And Sue, Sister Sue and Mary from Blackpool, they join us with their guitars and they start strumming and making the most beautiful music. And suddenly all the birds of heaven appear in the tree, singing the chorus of angels. And as we're sat there, we become amazed by a young man and woman who come walking towards us. And naturally we all offer them some of the goodies that is on display, and they join us. But we notice something special. There is a radiance, like an aura of pure gold. And as they sit down, they seem very ordinary. But then we begin to notice there's a calmness, And even Mary and Sue ceased to play the guitar because of that calmness. And all of a sudden, all the animals from the forest and the woodland gather around us too, for they feel safe. And out of the mouth of this young man, he speaks of peace. Blessed are the peacemakers. And then we go, wow. And then we know. Our heart is like a ticking clock. The bell starts ringing within our heart clock, and we know it is the Master. It is the Beloved. And we listen, and we become overwhelmed by the fragrance of jasmine and rose. And suddenly we gather closer and closer and closer till our shoulders are touching one another, and almost our heads are bowed in silent prayer as he takes each of our hands and we form a circle of love. And the Beloved speaks to us. He has something to share with us. And there's a silence. You could hear a pin drop. And this is what he shares with us. And he speaks it so beautifully and so softly. I am your strength and shield. I plan out each day and have it ready for you, long before you arise from bed. I also provide the strength you need each step of the way. Instead of assessing your energy level and wondering about what's on the road ahead, concentrate on staying in touch with me. My power flows freely into you through our open communication. Refuse to waste energy worrying, and you will have strength to spare. Whenever you start to feel afraid, remember that I am your shield. But unlike inanimate armor, I am always alert and active. My presence watches over you continually, protecting you from both known and unknown dangers. Entrust yourself to my watch care, which is the best security system available. I am with you and will watch over you wherever you go. Wherever you go. And we sit there quietly, feeling a surge of love coming up through our feet from our beloved Gaia, our Earth Mother. And her love is balancing all of the chakras in our body. And her love is flowing up into our heart to reawaken us to those words. That we take those words and we live those words. And above us, the birds start singing, and there is joy and peace. And at that moment we hug each other. We experience the tenderness of the Christ and Magdalena. They hug us with such dignity and such love. And there's a shift where we know we have released so much negativity. And it leaves us feeling joyous, jolly and happy. And then Mary and Sue start singing and playing the guitar. And before long, there is merriment at this picnic, with Sister Elizabeth and Eleanor doing an Irish jig, with Harry and Miriam, with Julie, and with the other brothers and sisters. There is such gaiety and joyfulness because the Spirit of God came upon us as we were held in the arms of the Beloved. And the fear that has eaten so many of us and led so many of their chosen paths brought us back and renewed our purpose to be still in the presence of God. So as we enjoy the fun, the laughter, the merriment, which is so Jesus, because when he was the barefoot Galilean, he enjoyed his life. He lived his life. He was happy. He was sad. But he celebrated at the wedding of Cana. And we know there was great merriment, as there is at our picnic. For he lifts us up, not to go around with faces as long as the avenues we live on, but to lift up our head, to stick out our chest, and to celebrate being a child of God. Let us celebrate. Let us not go around with the weight of the world on our shoulder. That weight should be handed over to God. And we should honor our paths, learn our life lesson, but celebrate love, agape, with each other. Just picture the scene, the happiness, the joy, the frivolities in the name of love. And it's as if the ancient tree has had a rebirthing herself, for she's never experienced so much joy and laughter around her. And we brought that to the oldest tree in Cumbria. Let us sit now and enjoy the pleasures of nature and allow the tree diva of this ancient tree to embrace us, to invigorate us, to carry on and not give up. Be still.